Hello, everybody. It's Fun Friday. I know I'm late. I'm really sorry about that. Just had a lot of stuff come up over the last few hours, so I know I'm late, but hopefully it's worth it for everybody. The first thing I want to do is I really want to thank everybody who's been kind of reaching out to me over the last week. I've gotten dozens of messages of people just kind of chatting with me, asking questions, giving me ideas, stuff like that. It's been really good to see that people are kind of wanting to be involved with this. And this is what I wanted. I really wanted the community to be involved. I wanted people to be able to, message me directly and talk to me and just tell me what their ideas are because I think that as a community we can make a game that's actually worthy of this sport. You know, no uh, no financial motivations, none of that. It's all about making a really good, really fun game that is about paintball. And so I've been really, really happy to see just so many people just, wanting to be a part of that. I've been getting a lot of requests from people like they're being like, do you have a donation button? Do you have a Patreon or something like that? So I mean, if you want to contribute, if you want to, support this sort of thing, I did create a Patreon. They said that you create like these tiers and shit. So I mean, like if you you know do $1 or something, I'll put you on like some kind of page. If you do $5, I'll do live streams on Twitch. So like if you want to watch me mess up a lot, and like ask me questions, then I can do that. I have added some other things. But anyway, so it's like patreon.com/BarryNix. So it's patreon.com/BARYNIX. It's not, it's not a requirement. I'm not going to stop developing the game if I don't make, $50 a month or something like that. But I know some people, they want to contribute in monetary ways, and I really appreciate that. That goes straight to coffee, which helps make this game. So, if you want to do that, that's totally awesome. All right, so here we are in the Nuketown map that I've imported from Gmod. There was a Gary's Mod map of Nuketown, so I basically just imported it and decided to play with it. So this is what it looks like, and it's not a bad map at all. Compared to some of the other maps I've seen, this is actually not very bad at all. And so it actually is pretty. If you've ever played Call of Duty Black Ops, it is pretty. Pretty up there with on quality. So, we'll go and look through it. Uh, you have your back spawn area. You have a spawn area over here. You've got your staircase. The actual model that I downloaded had a lot of had this windows kind of blocked out, but I've opened those up, so you can actually, shoot people down here, all that stuff. So, uh, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good map, I think. When it comes to um, Nuketown maps I've seen, it's actually really good. So I'm gonna be running with this for a while. I've also added some a thingy where when you shoot something, it'll show a little paint splatter, which is pretty sweet. So that's nice. I think that's probably one of my favorite things about the game. This is really beautiful. What I developed this game for. Like, look at this shit. That's sweet. Anyway, so you can run around, you can jump around, you can shoot, all that stuff. Um, so one of the big requests was doing snap shooting. So I experimented with that for a couple of days. Sorry, yeah, for about 2 days. I spent about 8 hours total experimenting with it. And so I was trying to see if I could programmatically make the character snap shoot, right? So basically I say, hey, character, turn your torso 45 degrees and snap shoot. Well, if you look at this setup right now, you'll see that when you're doing a first-person character, you basically take off the arms and stuff like that in the head, and attach it to the torso, right? And you kind of, ghost it on there. And so making it so that it would programmatically do that was difficult. Now the other thing is that so even though I could probably programmatically do that, the other part is that when it comes to multiplayer, this character and the third person multiplayer character both share the same skeleton, right? So whenever I make a change to this character, it has to basically be compatible with a third person character. And in experimentation, it didn't work. So what it turns out that what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to actually animate the snap shooting animation and all that stuff, which isn't a big deal because I have a good 2 weeks of animating that I'm planning on doing for this game, at least to start off. So it's totally fine. So snap shooting is just going to take a little bit longer. So I hope everybody can kind of forgive me for that, but it'll be there. I know it's damn near the most important skill in this game. I'm sorry, in this sport, and so I'd be stupid to not include it. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, so yeah, so I mean, right now you can run around and check out Nuketown and all that stuff. You can check the player mechanics. I know that some of the culling on the camera you can see on the right hand side. It kind of shows the inside of the M2 model. And you can also kind of see the edges of the hands. I'm aware of that. I need to redo the first person controller, so the hands on this thing, which will make it way more realistic and it'll avoid these problems. But this is week one, and I've been trying a whole bunch of different things, so I didn't get a chance to do this perfectly by the time we got to this point. So by the time I got to this demo, okay. All right, so that's this week. Next week is going to be all about multiplayer. All right. I think one of the most important things, even more so than snap shooting, is being able to get feedback on player mechanics. Since this game is going to be multiplayer, I think it's extremely, extremely important that I get at least start getting feedback on how this works. And also because when it comes to multiplayer games, you have to, if you're going to build a multiplayer game, you have to at least have some kind of multiplayer together if you're gonna, program for it. So, for example, right now, one of the mistakes I made this week was I tried to, see how the multiplayer controller would work, and it turns out that I have to make sure that all of my first person and third person things line up, which they did not. So when I spawned somebody in the multiplayer, everything got all weird and messed up, which is why, I had to basically pull the entire thing out. So, anyway, so we're going to get some basic multiplayer done. The way that it's going to work is anybody who has a computer can download a native binary. And by that, I mean I can go to File, Build Settings, right? And then you have PC, Mac, and Linux standalone. So what this means is that you can basically take this and run it on your computer. And the reason why is because I'm not 100% on how well I can do that from the browser. So if you're going to run a server, you can do it from the computer, right? So when you download the Linux, Mac, or Windows standalone, you can create the server. So when you start the host, it will connect to my API, which is my own, which means that we can do whatever we want with matchmaking. But it'll connect to my API, and it will register your server with the API and add it to a list, right? So as your server's there, or exist, or while you're hosting your server, it'll keep track of the number of players and stuff like that, right? So when people join the server, when people try to connect to the server, they will be connected to the multiplayer server with the lowest ping but the highest number of players. So basically, it goes by player count, right? So I think on Nuketown, I'm gonna probably cap it at 5-on-5. I think that'd be a really good way to not really overload it, but I'm open to suggestions. But basically, a 10-player server, right? So if there's 8 players in 5 servers, then it'll pick the server with the lowest ping. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do next week. So all week this week, that's what I'm gonna be working on. So it'll be kind of boring from like a look at what I'm doing standpoint, but I don't know. I'm gonna be adding a whole bunch of stuff. I'm kind of ADD when it comes to working. So like I'll work on something, I'll get bored with it, I'll work on something else, and I'll get bored and go back to the thing I was working on. So that's more than likely how I'm gonna do with this. Is I'm gonna make sure I'm just gonna bounce around. Also for the multiplayer demo, we can also do this one called the Playground. So this was like a big ass, whatever you want to call it, a big ass multiplayer map. So basically, I was gonna add like a castle here and like a castle here, right, as your main spawn points, and like maybe like a wall here, so that way the enemy team can't trap you, right? And this could be like a 20 or 30 person server. I don't know how well Unity's server networking works, so don't, we'll just see how it goes. But basically, you can, run around. I mean, there's tons and tons of options here. You have, tons of Doritos, tons and tons of walls. You've got a thing here where you can, like a center area and tons of stuff like that. So I think it'd be a lot of fun to play on this, but I don't know if we want to go that far yet. But it's something that we can also do. Let's see. I think that's it. So this week, like I said, is all about multiplayer. And then next week, it'll be about considering that there aren't any major problems with the multiplayer and there aren't any major like gripes with the current player mechanics. Then what we'll do is, then I'll move on to a really, really awesome system that I think is really going to blow the whole industry open. It's basically a cover system that you've seen in many games. If you've ever played Splinter Cell Conviction or Splinter Cell Blacklist, it's more or less that sort of thing, but it'll be more centered to paintball. And so that's going to require a lot of animation, which will be really fun for you guys to watch and see how that's going. It'll be really fun for me to do. I'll have to gather a lot of footage from my local field, so that'll be awesome. Let's see. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for, bothering to even listen to this 11-minute presentation of this stuff. If you want to play the current character demo with the Nuketown model, you just go to beta.pbtournament.com. I'll also post this on the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, How Big is Paintball, and all that stuff. And we'll just keep on rocking and rolling, guys. If you have any feedback, please, if you have any feedback or ideas, just come talk to me. Like I'm not gonna rip your head off or anything like that. I'm open to any and all ideas, so long as everybody's patient and we can, understand the priority of things. But I want to make a really awesome game, and I know that with the community that we can do that. So anyway, I'm sorry I've taken up 12 minutes of your time. I will see y'all next week for Fun Friday week 2. Fun Friday week 2. All right, bye.